February 14th, right? Okay, guys, we're doing lesson 1.5, part 2. Okay? So, we'll recap our theoretical model, or the formula we've been dealing with. Squared plus K. So, on Friday we dealt with H and we dealt with K. H deals with movements on the x-axis. K deals with movements on the y-axis. Let's get our graph going. Oh no. Sadly, this part's going to be recorded. See if I can edit this. Yeah, it's recording. Okay. All right, so we have our graph. Remember, we always move from our original parabola. We're used to this formula here, f at x or g at x. It doesn't matter what letter I use to start, x squared. Our vertex starts at the origin. Remember, we over 1, up 1, both ways. Over 2, up 4. Over 3, up 9. Now, some of you guys might remember or might know drawing a parabola by over 1, up 1, over 1, up 3, over 1, up 5. If you remember like that, odd numbers, that's fine. If you remember it the way I taught you on Friday, just choose one, okay? Make sure you can draw it properly. So this is our normal parabola that we're used to drawing. All of our movements will come from this parabola. Our H deals with moving right and left on the x-axis. So an example of that, x, and we'll go -4. So if I have -4 on the H, remember the our H, we think opposite. So if it is a -4, we're actually moving in a positive direction. We're going to move the vertex of the parabola 4 to the right. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Our new vertex is there. Because H is the only number we have, the rest of the parabola is drawn the exact same. So vertex here, 1 over 1 up, 2 over up 4, 3 over up 9. And here.
So sir, when it's negative, it goes right?
When it's negative, it goes to the right. And when it's positive, it goes to the left. That's only with H, okay? So think of H as being our opposite, okay? Negative goes in a positive direction, and a positive H, so a positive number here, would go in the negative direction. K, same idea, we move the vertex. The only difference is we move it up and down the y-axis. So we'll do the exact same thing, -4. So if K is -4, we start at our origin again because that's our normal parabola, and we're going to move 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rest of the parabola is drawn the same. 1 over 1 up, 2 over 4 up, 3 over 9 up. That's not what I want. All right, so we have our H and K. Today we're going to be working with A. A has 2 different styles for us that we have to get used to. Get another one of these. So, once again, we're used to our normal one. There's our normal. If I have a number in for A, actually, you know what? We'll do with, we'll do with positive number. So, if I have a number for A, let's say 2. 2 is representing our A. Remember, this is what we're talking about, our formula before. We have a number for A. A is 2, so it is greater than 1. What that means is our parabola is going to stretch. It's going to be much longer looking than our normal one. So when we go to draw this, this is where things change. Before I told you guys that we went over 1, up 1, then we go over 2, up 4. 1, 2, this one's 1, this one's 4. We go over 3, up 9. And the reason we did that is because those are the squares. 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 4. 3 squared is 9. That's why we draw that parabola that way. When we have a 2, or any number representing A, it's going to change how much we go up by. So we're still going to go to the right or the left 1, right or the left 2, 3. But instead of going up by its square, we have to multiply that number by our A after. So we have a 2. What that's going to mean, we'll draw it in green, is our vertex stays in the same point. I have no number representing H, nothing representing K, so the vertex is at the origin. Still at the exact same spot. But when I go over 1, when I square 1, that's 1. But now that I have the number 2 in for A, I have to multiply that by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. So we go up 2 this time. So 1, 2. Same on the other side. Same idea with our next move. We go over 2. Normally 2 squared is 4. But because we have 2 for A, we take 4, multiply by 2. How much do I go up by? What's that? 8. That's right. I take this number here, the square, and then multiply by what number A is. So instead of going up by 4, this time we're going up by 8. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same idea with our 9. We move over 3. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 would be 18. It's way off our chart, okay? The whole idea is I want you guys to notice that this parabola, we call it a stretch. It looks like it's been stretched out. It's much thinner than our normal one, okay? So we have a number for A. If it's greater than 1, it's going to stretch the parabola. It's going to look much longer. Same idea, but a little different, is when the number is between 0 and 1. So let's say we have a half for A. Or 0.5. Textbook can show it either way. You could draw it as a fraction. Could be a decimal. Doesn't matter. It's the same idea when we go to draw the parabola. This one we'll do this one in blue just so we can see the difference. We start at our origin again. There's no numbers for H and K, so the vertex isn't moving at all. Start at our origin. Now when we go over 1, up 1, same idea. 1 squared is 1. But when I multiply 1 by a half, what do I get? 0.5. So instead of moving up an entire slot, we're only going to move up half a slot. So it moves up a half. When I go over 2, up 4, I multiply 4 times my half. 4 times a half is 2. So instead of moving up 4, I only go up 2 this time. So there's over 2, up 2. Over 2, up 2. Same idea with 3. We go over 3 slots. Instead of moving up 9, I take 9 and then multiply by a half. 9 times a half is 4.5. So I go over 3, up 4.5. About there and about there. So this parabola, we say is compressed. You'll notice this one's much wider. We call it being compressed. So along those two, we'll use the exact same numbers. Difference being this time, instead of having positive 2, we're going to have negative 2. So what a negative does is it takes the exact same parabola and just flips it. So instead of opening upwards, which our positive ones will, we have a negative parabola. it's going to open downwards. So we drew our 2, our positive 2 in green. We're going to draw our negative 2 in green. So you can see that it's like a mirror image when it's reflected. So we have a negative. Start at the origin again. When I go over 1, instead of going down 1, I go down 2. Same idea. It's still going to be stretched. The only difference is it's going to be downwards. I go over 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Go over 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 8. Let's get rid of that. So, if you guys take a look at that, our negative 2x squared and our positive 2x squared are the exact same shape, a parabola. The only difference is the negative one opens downwards, positive one opens upwards. Okay? Same thing would happen if we had our half, this time just being a negative half. Use green. Negative half. It's going to open downwards. 4. And what was the other one? Oh, I think I drew that a little off. 6 cells. We go over 2. Instead of going down by 4, we go down by 2 because we multiplied by a half. Go over 3. Go down by 4.5 because that is half of 9. Our compressed parabola. So our negative half has, once again, I said, the same shape as our positive half. Only difference, because it's negative, opens downwards. You guys understand that? So our original one would look the exact same. I don't want to crowd the graph. Only difference is it's opening downwards. So anytime you have a negative parabola, it's going to be opening downwards. Positive, it's going to open upwards. Thomas. So the other thing with these recordings, guys, if you ever get to a point where you want to copy something from it, you can just pause it, right? So I only got to show this